All right, what's going on, team? Hope you guys are all having a wonderful start to your week. Sorry that I was not able to stream yesterday. I'm gonna have to try a new streaming software, I think, see if I can get it to work properly. But we'll be back to streaming normally come next Sunday, and pretty soon I'll be starting to release revamped content from our old crypto course. So what you can expect from that is a new video at some point during the week, and then potentially midweek, just a quick video to like kind of recap that stuff. Maybe even a stream for you guys if you're interested in that. But I'll give you some more details as I'm getting closer to starting that up. But anyways, we'll be doing a top down here on Bitcoin, and then I'll be looking at each of my favorite low cap projects right now, how they're doing, and my expectations for them in the coming months. So let's go ahead and get started on Bitcoin. So we've got a monthly close in 1 day, and as it stands right now, things look pretty decent. We've actually dumped below the 8 EMA on the monthly several times, but as of now, we're holding it well. And if we can close above like 24K this month, I would say confidence goes up a fair bit. But for now, pretty much just a choppy month. And I would not be that surprised if March is also a pretty choppy month. So expectations are pretty low, I guess, for the next couple months. But maybe come April, May, we'll get some more good moves again. We've got positive rising momentum right now. We've got a rising monthly cycle, and we're trending above the 8 AMA on the monthly. So things are looking really good. Last big area we really got to push through would be the rest of these bands that have rolled over a little bit, and this previous support, potentially resistance from 2021 summer. So that's kind of our last big push in the monthly. If we're trending above here, above 30K, things start to look extremely good. So that's definitely what we're looking for next. And then on the downside, really only key pivots are like 15, 16K. And then, this little one that we've been holding right now around 22K. Those are really the only pivots. There's a huge gap here. Maybe the top of this engulfing candle. But that's about it. There's a lot of air between where we're holding now and our previous supports back down here. So if we start to lose 22K, I would definitely be playing a little bit cautious with your trading funds. But that's pretty much it on the monthly. Let's go down to the weekly and see how that looks. Momentum's kind of stalling. Not really a great sign when we're coming all the way back to the bands and the cycles come down and momentum is stalling. Definitely leads me to believe that if we can't hold this 8 EMA, again, right around 22, 22.5K, then we probably get a pretty big dip back towards like 18K, maybe even as low as 15, 16K, right? Like I said, this is that big kind of no man's land that you really don't want to be involved in, right? If we start to break down here, we're going to have a new daily trend, and at that point, I think you just wait for it to resolve before really getting heavily involved again. So weekly doesn't look too great. I mean, it's not really that surprising, right? We came all the way back up and tested this key level here and the bands on the weekly. So pretty normal to fail here, especially after a full weekly cycle up. But for now, we are still holding technical market structure well, right? We have not broken down below the last key pivot, which is around here. And this BCI has also held up quite well. We haven't even tested really the mid-range of that. So for now, this still looks pretty good. When you zoom in on the lower time frame, you'll see we're just continually making higher lows in this kind of little channel here or whatever. So all in all, that looks pretty good. Going into the daily, again, we failed at Pi the first time around, nuked, made a new high, and now we're trying to make a higher low somewhere in front of that previous one. So far, we're holding pretty well at this 30 EMA, but I think there's definitely room to come back down towards 22. Like I said, 22 is kind of that big level. If you start to lose your daily trend here, it's anyone's best guess. Maybe the 200 catches on the daily. Maybe this previous pivot here catches. Maybe we go all the way back to this pivot here. Who really knows? You're going to have a new downtrend if you break this pivot low. So you just got to be, kind of cautious if that happens. Maybe even hedge short on these little bounces here. But you know, that's all up to your individual strategy. So as far as the near term, we did have this nice hold of the 30 EMA on the daily with these little bottoming tails here, and then a bullish engulfing. We've yet to clear the daily 8 EMA yet, which is going to be represented on the 4-hour by our inability to break the bands. Okay, so this is a pretty classic failure right here, right? You have like a really good looking failure at the bands, and then people start to short heavily. They get stopped out. We nuke back below, and now we're trying to decide, I guess, if we're going to trap these people that just shorted and just kind of slow grind back up, or if the people that are long in this little tiny dip here are about to get wrecked. I'm not really too confident either way. I would say just be patient, wait for closes above 24K if you're looking to go swing long, because then, you know, maybe we're out of this little downtrend that we're in here. And then if you're looking to short, I mean, I think you could be shorting here on certain altcoins. You know, APT still looks pretty weak, right? Continually making lower highs in this downtrend. So I think that could be a decent short here, you know, around 1250, you know, cut above 1350-ish, something like that. And then your major target would be this sequence of lows right back here around 1150 to 12. Okay, that'd be a pretty decent trade, nothing really crazy. Let's see, another one that I'm looking at, XRP. I mean, this one always looks pretty weak. Has not gotten above pi yet on the daily, still making lower highs. Again, I'm not really super eager to short right now, but these are just some that I think definitely look weaker than others. So, you know, some alright options there. On the flip side of that, if we start to break above 24, then my favorite coins to long are going to be Woo Trade. I've still got an old long that was completed there. Woo Trade into the daily bands here, I think looks pretty good. You know, you've got pretty tight risk down to like less than 19 cents. And then your major upside targets are really up towards like 40 cents. And that is only if we can break this key resistance around 25-ish. So that's one of my favorites. And then MATIC. Again, there's a lot going on in the MATIC ecosystem, and it's holding the bands here pretty well. So I'd say if we can continue to hold this general region, then we're looking at an upside target somewhere close to $1.75, $1.80. So this is probably my favorite centralized exchange long. If we hold in this general, you know, 22K region on BTC, right? 4 to 5 risk reward. You know, even if you TP the previous local highs, you're still looking at a 2.5 to 3R. Pretty good. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good one to take. Lido also looks pretty good. I mean, you know, this thing just wants to rip through this old high. It's just kind of sitting there. And it's not the old all-time high. I'm pretty sure the old all-time high is $5 to like $7, but you know, this is definitely setting up for a pretty nice run up there. Okay, so that's another one of my favorites, MATIC, and then Lido. Let's see, what else? There's one more I was looking at earlier. Was it Axes? No, I don't think so. I can't remember which one I was. Maybe it was Curve. Yeah, Curve looks pretty good here too. Very similar structure to Bitcoin. Okay, but you got this nice tight risk reward setup, and then your first target would be the range highs from last year, which is right around $1.50. Again, not the greatest, but still pretty good risk reward, and it's all going to be dependent on whether or not BTC can hold here in front of the bands. So if we start to escape this little 4-hour downtrend that we're in here, those are a few coins I think are worth the long. And then if you lose 20K, you're just going to have to be patient, right? Because there's no telling which pivot is really going to be the one to catch, right? Because we'll be kind of just in the middle of no man's land. But anyways, I don't want to keep this video going for too long. So if you guys have any more questions on Bitcoin, feel free to hit me up in the chat. Obviously, I'm happy to help anytime. But let's go ahead and look at... excuse me. Let's look at some of my favorite shitcoin bets lately. So I would say the top of that list are probably these Ordinal projects, yeah. Which brings me to another point. I forgot the last coin I really want to look at that looks fantastic is stacks. Okay, this is essentially, I think, a layer 2 maybe for Bitcoin or something like that. Maybe it's smart contracts for Bitcoin. I can't remember. But the narrative is extremely strong, right? And this thing has long since broken out of its higher time frame downtrend. Okay, so there haven't been any real pullbacks yet on the weekly, but on the 4-hour we'll see, and on the daily even, this has been accumulating really nicely, right? We had a really nice solid hold of the bands back here on the 4-hour, pushed to new highs. So I think any dips back towards 70 cents are probably worth a bid. And then if we get that break on BTC of 22K, maybe we get lucky and we can catch it back near 50 cents on STX. So I think that's a really, really high quality project. And a lot of people are not really talking about it yet. I mean, it's kind of, there's a pretty big Bitcoin narrative going around right now. And I would say this is the only project really being talked about. But even with those people, you know, I'm not seeing it that much. You know, there's not that many people talking about it. So I think it's still pretty undervalued. And the chart kind of speaks for itself. I mean, you know, this is not something I really would want to fade. Quite the contrary, I'd really like to be buying this on dips. The monthly 8 EMA for stacks is sitting right around 50 cents. So again, if we're going to get something like that, it's probably only going to be with a dump on BTC through 22K. But I think that's a great level to be buying at. Pi on the 4-hour, the 200 as they're rising up. I think that'll be a good buy the dip opportunity if we get it. And until then, I think buying these 4-hour dips, you know, as long as we're holding around 70 cents is going to be pretty profitable for stacks. But I'm not really betting much on that yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good runner, but I'm betting more on the low caps in this kind of Bitcoin DeFi space. Two of which, of course, I've been talking about them a lot, so I'm sure you guys aren't surprised. But Ordex, and one of my buddies actually did a Q&A with their head developer today, and it was pretty enlightening. Definitely upped my confidence on these guys. I really think of all Ordinal projects that these are the most legit two out there, with Ordex being the most legit, in my opinion. Again, I have not really had a personal conversation with the OBTC team, but, you know, since I have with, or my buddy has with the Ordex team, it's kind of hard to really keep confidence up. So I'm weighted much heavier in Ord than I am OBTC. That being said, this is not correct either. That being said, Ordex is at around 3 to 4 million market cap, and OBTC is still 1.5. So naturally, you know, a little bit heavier in the one that's already kind of run. But anyways, these charts look really good. Still a tad bit iffy, right? This is kind of the... I don't really want all those lines here. This is kind of the overarching trend right now on Ordex. And so we're still looking to break out of this like 650, 6,500 level, right? And then I think we can be confident that this downtrend is over. Because for now, we're just kind of ranging from where we bottomed to the last local high before we bottomed, right? Still looks good. I really like this candle here. So hopefully Bitcoin can hold up and we can get a nice push back up towards 10,000 or something like that. But for a project of this caliber, I mean, I'm really just waiting for this to go live and for some real interest to come into it. I mean, this is all just kind of, you know, what's the word? This is all just kind of a tease, in my opinion. So I think we'll see a good break on this pretty soon. Definitely at some point in March, I imagine that they'll launch the first Ordinals platform on Ethereum. But, you know, who's going to do it first? Is it even going to be one of these two, or is it going to be someone else that I'm not even aware of? Who really knows? But for now, these are the two I'm betting on. Ordex has become a pretty big piece of my overall portfolio just because, you know, we had a pretty good first entry here under 2,000. But, yeah, still looks pretty good. Definitely really confident in that one. And then OBTC, slightly less confident in just because I've heard some rumors of the dev, or not the devs, but someone involved with the devs being a previous scammer. I don't know. I haven't found any truth behind that. I've not found any evidence that points to that being true, but a few people have said it. Maybe it's true. Obviously, the team has said it's not true, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm not really going to be adding to this one, but I'm definitely happy to have a moon bag. I'm not sure which of these two, if these two at all, are going to be the big winner. But, you know, if Ordex and Ordinal BTC are both legit, not rugs, not exit scams, and one goes up, 10x, I think the other one will just be seen as undervalued in that light. If Ord goes to 20 mil, 30 mil, people are going to take some of their profits and say, hey, look, guys, OBTC's at $2 million market cap. It's the same narrative, the same ideas with Ord. Ooh. And I think that'll run too. Likewise, if Ordinal BTC runs first, the same catch-up game I think will happen on Ord. So definitely still happy to be holding positions in these. Next up are the MPG Igloo kind of combo tokens, and I'm not sure exactly how I feel about the longevity of these two, but I'm pretty confident in the Amplify team. I've looked at what they're building between Amplify, between the automatic perp decks, and just all the token projects they're working on. I mean, they have so much going on. I've not really been more confident in a team than I am in the Amplify team. And so the main dev there has come and built out this Murder Penguin coin. I know the name and the logo for it are kind of whack, but I don't think that really matters, right? I think that the use case that they're offering is really solid. And, we got in back in here. Anyone that knows about this project through me should already be up, a severe multiple from now. I would not just be starting to buy in here, but 1.5 million market cap is still super cheap for what they're offering. I mean, Amplify went to 30 million, I think, during a bear market. So I don't see why MPG can't run to at least $10 million at some point this year. So this is still a hold for me. Already up nice multiples, but I think there's a lot more to come. Maybe watch for a retrace of this move. We get something a little below 50%. I think that could be worth a bid back towards 5,000. But for now, I think it's just a hold, right? TP new highs, take out your initial if you're feeling like it, and then just relax, wait it out. And then Igloo is kind of the sister coin of that. Excuse me. More undervalued at 500K market cap, but at the same time, liquidity for this is extremely thin. It's very difficult to get any kind of bag on this one, And honestly, even MPG, 183 liquidity is not very good at all. It's very difficult to get a bag, which is tough for people who want to ape, but at the same time, for people already in, it's very good because, well, let me rephrase that. For people in that are not interested in selling down here, it's very good because the people that you want to be aping your bags, someone comes in and wants to ape 10K, it's going to push it a lot harder than something with much thicker liquidity, like say Revest has 1.4 million liquidity. It's going to take a lot more to push that up a 2x than it'll take MPG. The flip side is it'll take a lot less, or it'll take a lot more to push Revest down 50% than it will MPG at the same time. So that's how it goes, though. You guys should not be surprised or shocked to hear any of this. These are low cap, micro cap shitcoins, right? They move up and down very quickly, very easily, and the risk is extremely high, right? In my opinion, when you're involved in stuff like this, you can trade it around if you like, but for me, it's a zero or hero mission, right? This is either going to go up 10, 20x, make me some good money, or it's never going to get traction. It's going to stay at zero forever. Those are basically the bets that I'm taking. And for now, looking pretty darn good. So, Ordinal projects, two of my favorites. MPG, Igloo, Amplify, all three of these going hand in hand, I think are extremely good. You guys know Amplify, I'm locked up until like 2027 on this one. So, I am committed, right? And I'm earning a little bit of Ethereum every month. I think I've earned 3 or 4 ETH or something like that since I locked up. And maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 grand in actual Amplify rewards, which I don't get until 2027. So they're not, I don't count the Amplify rewards at all. I kind of have written those off. But God willing, come 2027, this project's still around and I'm stacked on 150% APY Amplify rewards for 5 years. Woo! This shit's going to be worth a lot. And then at the same time, they've got a lot of ways that they're looking to benefit their fused amplifier holders. Like I said, they're launching a new perp dex on Polygon. And it's looking pretty high tech, looking like it's going to be a pretty good exchange. And they're going to be airdropping their governance token, their what's it called? Their GLP. If you guys are familiar with GMX, they're kind of doing something similar to GMX. They'll have GMX, they'll have a GLP, they'll have honestly like 3 or 4 different coins. They'll have a governance token, stuff like that, and they're going to be airdropping all that to fused amplifier holders. I think it'll be a 6-month vest once the perp dex launches. So that'll be a nice little bonus to hold in that. All in all, the whole ecosystem they got going on, they've got ALP, I think will be their governance token. They've got Amplify, MPG, Igloo. These guys are doing a lot. So I really think that at least one of these is going to come out and be a big winner. And then, of course, Revest. I'm not really talking about it much, but I've got a moonbag in this that I'm trying to hold for at least a 10x from here, right? I mean, this project should take off pretty hard, in my opinion, when Lido starts to run to new highs and the LSD narrative goes bonkers again. Because most people don't really know about this project, and when they see it, I think they're going to be shocked at 4 million market cap and 1.5 million liquidity. I mean, it's legit super apeable for a low cap, and the chart just looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is what you want to see in a shitcoin chart. Big move up, big move down, and then about a year of sideways, and that's what we've got. So the team's Gigabrain. I think they got a lot going on here. And then last one is Wasner. Again, very similar. Had a huge move up, huge move down, and now it's gone sideways in this range for over a year between a penny and like 6 cents. So my average cost is like 2.5 cents or something like that. You know, not great, not terrible. Definitely would like to double this, as it's really just a moonbag for me now. If we get back towards 1.5, you know, supposedly these guys have hundreds of thousands of users for their project, their platform, whatever. I'm not super sure of the use case yet, but I don't know. The chart looks really great. The team seems reliable. The product seems decent. So, you know, I'm all about that. And then the last one that I don't even know if I mentioned in the main chat, so my apologies if I didn't, but at the same time, you know, it was like 300K market cap. Liquidity is the worst of anything I've ever seen. But here we go. 0x0 AI, smart contract auditor. So this one's still only $1.4 million market cap, but the liquidity is just terrible. Less than a tenth of market cap is liquidity at this level is just not good. But that being said, just like today, someone wants to come in at ape 100K, they're going to have to push it up 100, 200, 300%. And that's just how it goes. And so now we've broken out of this month-long triangle that was just boring me to tears, and we've actually got a real uptrend started. So I think you get any decent retrace on this, and there is, you know, good chance of that happening in my opinion, because it's so illiquid. You know, 1 or 2 people decide they want to sell, this is going to be back down here. I think it's absolutely worth DCAing a position. These guys seem pretty gigabrain, and I like what they're offering with their smart contract auditor, and they're building out or at least they're attempting to build out a private Uniswap DEX, which I think would be a really big use case. I know I would use a private DEX if I could. You know, it'd be great if all my transactions on Uniswap, on SushiSwap, could just be hidden. But, you know, we'll see if they really come through on that. It was really a pretty light position for me. Again, I'm not going to risk super large amounts of money on a 400K shitcoin, but, you know, I'm still pretty happy with the size I got on, so I'm excited to see where this one goes. So definitely expect me to be talking about it more. But, you know, you can get some rap for shilling too many low cap coins, so sometimes I'm just not really comfortable shilling it. But anyways, it looks pretty cool. As liquidity picks up, you know, I'll be a little bit more confident talking about it. But yeah, so that's kind of my lineup right now. The 2 Ordinal coins, Ordex and Ordinal BTC. I think they look solid. Amplify, MPG, Igloo. All 3 of these are kind of a package. Amplify, I'm locked up for years. Igloo, I'm staking right now. I think you get Ethereum rewards for staking, so you're looking forward to that. I should have been doing it the last month. I just didn't know it was even a thing. So staking that. MPG, I'm looking to see if there's anything to stake here, but all in all, the price action is really solid. I mean, I was talking this one up pretty much all of February, so you had a lot of time to get a decent dollar cost average. I don't even think mine's that good. I think mine's like I think my first bid was good over here, 2,000. So actually, that's pretty good DCI. I can't remember if I added it or not somewhere in here, but regardless, at this point, very good dollar cost average. Really confident in the project. 0x0 again. Confident that after this month-long breakout that we're going to see a good uptrend into the summer. Revest, this one might take some time to really start to perform, but still very confident in this, and Wasner, both consolidating for well over a year. Things look pretty great there. And then BTC, it's the same old thesis, right? Come on, give me the, yeah, whatever. Let's do this. Really want to see Bitcoin continue to hold above 23.7K, right? We're testing it, we're testing it, we're testing it, we're failing, big nuke. We got above it, we hold it, we're trending, looks good, looks good. Well, now we're back below it, right? And if we continue to stay below this, at the least, I'm expecting like around 20K BTC. Okay, if we can't get back above 23.7, I think, you know, maybe we make a higher low and then we reclaim it and we get to go. But the longer we spend below 23.7K, the less confidence I have in the current Bitcoin uptrend. So, you know, maybe we'll just keep bouncing around somewhere in this 22K range before getting above it. But if we can't hold around here, then I'm expecting 20K BTC and maybe even as low as 16.5 to 15.5. That's like, you know, kind of drastic, obviously, but that's genuinely how I feel about it. And I was talking about that in the top down too. If we can't hold in here and we can't reclaim this 24K level, we're in no man's land, right? And no man's land, after a move up like this, there's no telling where you're actually going to stop. So really want to reclaim 23.7 to 24K, guys. That's definitely necessary for the intermediate term bull rally thesis. Okay. But anyways, I'll try not to speak anymore on Bitcoin. I already gave the spiel on that. If you guys have questions about that, on any of the projects I'm involved in, feel free to hit me up in the chat. I'm always happy to answer questions. But I think that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. So I'll see you all in the chat. Have a great, safe trading week. Good luck to all. Peace out.